Hi, Alan Rodgers here, Professor of Business at Vermont Technical College. And I wanted to give you a quick overview of the break-even analysis as presented in the Emerging Leaders program. It's a little different than the usual way. I say usual. I did an internet search of break-even formula, and 90% of them are the calculated break-even units as presented. But let me just show you the difference and how to apply the one in Emerging Leaders. So the traditional formula is break-even units is equal to the total fixed cost divided by the difference between unit price and unit variable cost. This is a great methodology for manufacturing environment or production environment. Might be a little bit hard to conceptualize for service industries. Can be, but it might be a little bit harder. Or you might not have the data available. But just as an example, if I'm selling hot dogs from a hot dog cart, if my unit price of a hot dog is $3, my unit variable cost is $1, so the hot dog, the bun, the relish, and my labor is $1. The difference is $2. If my fixed cost is, let's say, $500, fixed cost could be renting of the cart and licensing and all that for whatever that period is. $500 divided by $2 gives me a break-even unit of 250 units. So I need to sell 250 hot dogs to break even and cover both my fixed and unit variable costs. We can get to the break-even sales by taking that unit number, which is 250, multiply it by the $3 sales price, and get $750 of break-even sales. But you might not have these unit prices and unit variable costs. So the formula that we're presented in Emerging Leaders is the calculation of break-even sales is equal to the total fixed cost divided by the difference between 1 minus 1 or 100% and the total variable cost as percentage of sales. I'll give you an example of that in a second. But conceptually, if you're thinking about this, and if my next statement helps, great. If it doesn't, then you can ignore it. You're calculating effectively the break-even price as if you're selling one big super unit in that period. So, and treating all of your variable costs as all the variable costs for that one big super unit. So if that statement helps, great. If it doesn't, then you can just ignore it. But let me give you the example here. So sales is $10,000. Your variable costs are $5,000. Your fixed costs are $3,000. So the variable cost as percentage of sales is 50%. We get that by dividing $5,000 into $10,000. So applying the formula, the break-even is 3,000 divided by 1 minus 0.5. You could do 100% minus 50%, and that would still be the same. And applying the algebra, we know that that's equal to multiplying by 2. So 3,000 times 2 is $6,000 in break-even sales. I should probably put that. That's break-even sales. It's not units, it's sales. So I like to check things, and here's my check below. So in this particular example, I applied the formula. I got $6,000. Again, the formula is fixed divided by 1 minus variable as a percent of sales. I get 6,000. So let me just check it here. So my sales was $6,000. The fixed is always fixed, so it's 3,000. My variable is 50% of sales, so it's 3,000 as well. And so when I look at adding both variable and fixed, I get 6,000. And when I deduct that from sales, I get 0, which is by definition break even. Just to test the extremes, if I have, for example, no variable costs, maybe you're selling water, and you just have fixed costs, the break-even is 3,000. That makes sense. All my costs are fixed. I just have to achieve 3,000 in sales here, and then my sales minus fixed plus variable equals 0. Again, we get break even. Let's take the other extreme where variable is 8,000 out of 10,000, which is 80%. Now I can look at that and I know intuitively my break-even sales has to be over 10,000, right? Because 8,000 is variable, 3,000 is fixed. We're already at $11,000 in fixed plus variable, so it's got to be higher. And it is. So at 80%, so 8,000 divided by 10,000 of variable as a percentage sales, my break-even calculation comes out to 15,000. So let's just double check that. My sales is 15, my fixed is still 3,000. 80% of 15,000 is 12,000. So again, we reach break-even of 0 when I deduct the variable and fixed from the sales and achieve break-even. So I hope that's been a little bit helpful in understanding the differences between the formulas, and I look forward to seeing you in class, and again, hope that's been helpful. Take care.